Hello, in this video I will go through my deck for Norman Withers playing in the Dream Eaters campaign. This was the final deck before the last scenario. He had, it requires 26 XP to build, and if Norman Withers is a Seeker type, that can only add 0 cost Seeker type cards, and then 5 Mystic 0 level cards. Slowly he becomes more and more of a Mystic through the campaign as he gains XP, because he can add level 1 to 5 Mystic cards. So the deck looked a bit different. It was even more focused on this big hand size in the beginning of the campaign, but as it went on, more and more card was replaced by the higher XP Mystic cards. So let's go through how I built this deck. It was a really fun deck to play. Also a bit advanced, I would say. There's a lot of combos in it. His ability, Norman Withers, is that he plays with the top card of the deck revealed. Then once per round, you may play the top card of your deck as if it were in your hand at -1 resource cost. Forced after a weakness is revealed while on top of your deck, draw it. And the special effect is that he may swap the card from the top with your hand. So the idea here is basically you abuse this ability he have of playing with the top card of the deck revealed in various different ways. Also having a lot of tomes that we can look up and such. So quickly just his weaknesses here. Not that important. So first, his Norman Withers deck only card, the Livre de Aibon, Hyperborean Grimoire. It's a tome. It can be exhausted without using any action to swap the top card of the deck with the card in your hand. So here you can easily manipulate the top card of your deck, do various stuff. You can exhaust it to commit the top card of your deck to a eligible skill test performed by an investigator at your location. So again, you can swap a card, you can get rid of it by committing it to skill test. One you really want as soon as possible in this deck. Then again, in the same kind of vein, 2 astronomical atlases. Each of these cost 3 XP. They can be exhausted to look at the top card of your deck. If it's not a weakness, attach it face down to astronomical atlas. As we know what the card is, obviously we can just attach it directly, because we will know if it's a weakness. Also, we would know if it's something we want to put under astronomical atlas. Furthermore, you can commit a card from astronomical atlas to an eligible skill test. If that skill is successful, you add it to the hand instead of discarding it. Here especially, you can really get full value out of skill cards such as deduction, because you can kind of like use it twice, not in the same turn, but you can first use it for skill test with astronomical atlas, and then you can use it for a normal skill test, and it's a graveyard. You can kind of abuse it in different ways. So this is also something you want really down fast as possible. In the tome section, these were some of the ones that were replaced, that were 2 of each earlier. Grim Memoir, that have 4 secrets. You can spend 1 to investigate, get plus 2 book for the investigation, and if you succeed by 2 or more, draw a card. Kaleino Fragments, where if you have 5 or more cards, you get +1 book. If you have 10 or more cards, you also get +1 head. And if you have 15 or more cards, you gain +1 book more, meaning you would get 2+ book and 1+ head. So now you can see there's a lot of books, but there's even a final one, Abyssal Tome, It's a single fighting possibility. You can exhaust it to fight. You may use either book or head for this attack instead of a hand. When you initiate this attack, you may place 1 Doom on Abyssal Tomb to a maximum of 3. You get +1 skill value and deal +1 damage for this attack for each Doom on Abyssal Tomb. This was crazy good in the final scenario, where I essentially got it up to 3 Doom and just went around with Norman Withers that is not that good at fighting normally, and just dealing like 4 damage per hit. It was crazy good actually, but especially this character is built as more of a clue finder, so normally I would not need to fight that much, and it was the deck was built for a 4-man game, so it can be very focused on just finding clues as it was earlier. For the spell slot, there's a couple of cards that also is important for, especially earlier in the build. But this one is good anyway. The maximum hand size is increased by 1, and you may have 1 additional hand slot, which can only be used to hold a tome asset. So this is obviously pretty good together with this many tomes, because you kind of quickly run out of space in your hands. We have a Dream Enhancing Serum. This is a bit funky card. Only the first copy of each card in your hand counts towards your maximum hand size. And after you draw a copy of a card that is already in your hand, you can reveal both copies and exhaust it to draw an extra card. So this can combo a lot with if you have some of the tomes that can swap cards from your hand on top of your library. Then you kind of swap the card. If you have this one we talked about before, you have 2 cards of the same card in your hand. Let's say we have 2 Research Librarian. We swap 1 card on top of of the deck with this one. Then we draw it. When we draw it, we tap this one, draw an extra card, and then we can do that every turn. So we can draw a lot of cards. We can again abuse these different combinations to really get extreme card draw and kind of just find all the pieces we need to get a lot of cards in our hand. Whereas when we can then activate some other cards that we have. So Ineffable Truth is the final one. It was just a card to be better at evading, so you can get away from those pesky enemies that could potentially attack us. So in the ally slot, we have 2 Research Librarians to find those tomes. These are essentially just like a tutor for tomes, and I would say most often I just play it and then don't care about it. Just the first time a chance I get, just put 1 damage on it, 1 horror on it, kill it away, because the primary reason is just to find the tomb you need, or the tome you need. The other thing that it can be used to is to shuffle your deck. That can also be really good when you know what the top card is. You can kind of get a double effect out of it. If you don't want to play the top card of your deck, you can search for a tome to your hand. Maybe you're lucky, you get another card on top of your deck that you want to play. So it's like I have a double effect in that sense. And Dr. Milan, as this character was primarily a clue finder, this is obviously very good as well. So for other things to get some resources as well. There's a lot of things that also cost resources here, so we need some resources. We have Milan, but here we have Astounding Revelation, 3 of those. Again, we have the Research Librarians that can activate these. We have other than that, we have I will get into those, so I can put them now. Lucid Dreaming that can also activate these. So these essentially say, choose a card in your play area or reveal a card in your hand, search your deck for another copy of that card and draw it, shuffle your deck. So this one also activates with the Dream Enhancing Serum, as you already obviously have a card in your hand, else you couldn't play this one. you could have it in play, but most often you would find something that is in your hand already. You can, at the same time, you activate also an Astounding Revelation because you search your entire deck. And you shuffle your library as well, so you get a new card on top. So this kind of have a 3-in-1 effect. It's especially good to find something like, for instance, your second deduction, your like crack the case, or similar cards where you actually get a value out of having 2. You could also find the second research librarian. Else, I would say, if I had to rebuild the deck, I don't know if I would like these again. It was an experiment. It cost 2 XP each. Could those XP have been used on something else? Maybe, but it was fun to play with, and I think maybe I wouldn't have made that choice again in other circumstances. So if I had to redo it, but I still didn't regret it a lot. So other ways to find to get extra resources: crack the case. Basically, you just if you search the last clue at the location, you can get X resources, where X is the shroud value. This is a no-brainer in a deck like this, especially because we have so good opportunities to investigate here. He starts with like 5 book out of the gate, right? So it's like he's just really good at that. Extensive research, 12 cost, pretty expensive, but reduce the cost for 1 for each card, each other card in your hand. But with this deck, especially in the earlier stages, I had 2 of these as well. I could very easily get to 10 cards or 12 cards, so you could play this pretty cheap, and it just discovers 2 clues automatically at the location. Again, I don't know if it's really worth it. That's also why I reduced it to 1 in the final session, because it's like, in most cases, it's too much work to get 2 clues when you could essentially just like investigate twice and get them. Obviously, this is automatic as well. You don't run the risk of failing, but still, this many cards in hand tactics, it's pretty good. But in the end, I would say we had a group that was so good. These investigators, we had so much XP. We just ran through the scenario, and I would say that it was not really needed as much to build up the hand size and do all this stuff, whereas just brute force was the way forward in the end. But it did work. So then the final here, deduction, also can get some additional clues. On a skill check, it's just a really good card, especially because you can then recur it with, as I explained earlier. So for the final, it's just a bit of a random different cards. I've got a plan. This one can fight and uses book to deal +1 damage for each clue you have, max +3 damage. So this is also a pretty good way, just 4 damage, because I would most often be able to have 3 clues on me. Sankt Huber's Key as the charm slot here, +1 head, +1 book, -2 sanity. But if I'm defeated by horror, you discard it and immediately heal 2 horror. Also in this deck, where basically book and head are the 2 abilities I go for. Again, very good card. A single 4 of cups, only 1 XP, gets +1 head, and if you can manage to get it in your opening hand, it's you can get it down for free. So also a very good card. Arcane Studies, upgraded version. This one costs 4 XP, but it's definitely worth it. It uses 2 resources that replenish every round. You spend one of the resources to either get +1 head or +1 book for the skill test. Meaning essentially throughout your turn, every turn, you can use +2 to your 2 primary abilities. It's just rarely that you would need it more than once, depending on like what situation you are in. But I would say most often this would just be plus two because you wouldn't need to boost all your skill check. So it's the single skill check or like two skill check where you get +1/+1. That is like how you would use it. I most often just if you have a really important one, you need to bump up, have maybe +2, and then the other ones are almost maxed already in this when you're on the state of this deck in the end game. So again, it's a good card, especially if you can get it early. Final card I bought for 5 XP is a Ward of Protection. I bought this card because I thought the deck was so good that I didn't need to upgrade anything to boost the deck itself. So I preferred to take a card that could help the group in a pesky situation. So basically this one, if you don't know it, is when you draw a non-weakness encounter card, you can cancel the card's effect and discard it and take 1 horror. So this was essentially just to protect the group from any card that we didn't really want. And I spent again 5 XP on it, but I think it's definitely worth it because my deck is so well functioning and tuned that I didn't feel the need to upgrade some of the other cards that I could have spent the XP on. I think the most important cards in this deck is definitely these Astronomical Atlases. That just no matter what you build outside of Norman Withers, these are so good in his deck. So now this particular deck was built in a way to start with abusing the big hand size, and then slowly drifted towards a more just brute force tome-based deck with abusing a bit his ability, using some search ability, so I could use the Astounding Revelation from the deck. And other than that, being really good at finding clues, and in the end, beating up monsters with the Abyssal Tome. Thanks for listening.